Sometimes the two of us get the itch to turn back time to 2009 and dive back into an old favorite. Borderlands is one of those classic games that it seems like almost everyone has memories from. It's a game that never gets old, and no matter how many times we play it, I always have fun.
Don't touch my boyfriend!
It's also one you've got to be prepared to not put down after picking back up. So this weekend we figured it was about time we opened up Pandora's box and finally had a Borderlands Date Night. From my experience, it feels like the more we play Borderlands, the more ways we find to have fun with it. I think that's why we always find ourselves circling back around to it. Way back when, it was our go-to game when we just wanted to hop into something and kill some stuff. We've played through the first missions like a billion times, but it never gets old.
He surrenders.
Sure.
That bastard.
If you know anything about Borderlands, it's that there's no shortage of guns. Not only are they pointed at you around every corner, but they're just littering the ground ripe for the taking. I love sniper rifles and shotguns myself, so basically I want to be as close as possible or as far as possible when I'm shooting at something. Whenever we open up a gun case, we like to split it 50-50, but if there's a shotgun in there, it's obvious who it's going to.
Still alive, baby?
I don't know what it is, but anytime a gun's name is a cool color, I just automatically want to have it more. When we do get into a disagreement over who gets what gun, it can usually be attributed to the fact that it's got a colorful name. What can I say? I'm just drawn to all the colors. Maybe that's why I love the elemental damage weapon so much, since it's fun seeing all the colorful numbers pop up when you hit a target.
God damn. Holy shit, is that a flamethrower or a handgun?
He's more into the RPG elements like leveling up and unlocking new stuff, and I'm much more into pointing my gun at stuff and shooting. I'm definitely guilty of opening up the menu and finding like 3 unspent skill points. It's not so much that I don't like leveling up, but more that I just forget I get them because leveling usually happens during an encounter.
I'm just trying to level up, you little fuckhead.
It's pretty typical for him to be buried in his skill tree trying to decide where he wants to assign points, while I go wandering off and get myself into trouble. As the couple's certified loot goblin, it's pretty much a given in a game where you can hunt around for goodies. As much of a chore as it can be, constantly having to bail me out of danger, I think it's safe to say that it's thanks to me we have the money to buy all the shit we unlock in the first place.
Your half? There is no your half of the money! There is only my all of it. Do you understand? Why should I be penalized because of your sloppiness?
Most questing is thanks to him and him alone. I'm more than happy to just head towards the nearest waypoint, killing everything we find along the way. To be honest, I'm just trying to kill as many things as I can till I find the next best weapon. I'm not out here to lend a helping hand, but instead just line my pockets with more artillery. In fact, when it comes time to turn in the quest, more often than not, I don't even know who we got it from in the first place.
Once again, I'm stuck behind cleavage.
Me? I'm notoriously bad about interfacing with the shop, and it's sort of become a joke between the two of us. Some of my famous blunders are selling guns I didn't mean to and buying a bunch of something by accidentally double-clicking it. It's obviously been designed to have been navigated using a controller, so it's kind of my fault, but somehow I never learn. I always want to click on a gun to see what its stats are, and then it's just...
Do you have one of those? Yo!
Yes.
Now I could carry all those guns I couldn't carry earlier. We got that from Claptrap, too. Shit.
Oh my gosh.
Should have used that.
Wait.
The good news is that Borderlands is the perfect game for people like me who are always worried about screwing something up. Even after I sell my most favorite gun, it doesn't take long to find a good replacement. I've gotten used to not getting too attached to my weapon since I end up tossing them out sooner rather than later. There's always something better out there, so there's no point crying over spilled milk. Another thing I constantly screw up is I always unequip my shield belt. We'll be running around scratching our heads about why I'm always low on health and he's not, without putting 2 and 2 together.
Karen, you don't even wear your shield belt.
Oh my god, that makes so much sense. Shit!
Eventually he'll notice that there's a bar missing from my health in the top left, and it'll start making sense why the enemies hurt so bad.
Health on the ground right here. You didn't buy a shield, did you?
No. Nothing gets me going like seeing a big pile of stuff on the ground. I just need to work on not heading straight for the loot before everything's dead. He's partially to blame, because anytime there's extra ammo or health on the ground, he's always accidentally picking it up when he doesn't need it.
There was ammo, you said?
Oh, Yeah, I just picked up what was left because I thought you already got it.
Nope.
Sorry.
The two of us love driving the car, so it's always a point of contention who gets to drive and who'll sit up top manning the gun. Firing the gun is fun and all, but it's 10 times more fun to run things over. A lot of the time, the two of us think of the car more as a weapon than a tool for getting around.
Do you want a rocket launcher runner or a machine gun runner?
Rocket launcher.
Had a feeling. Alright.
If the goal is to be as destructive as possible, then I'm the best choice for a driver. I'm much better at running people over than hitting a moving target. Or in this case, hitting a target while moving.
Why am I so terrible at shooting? You would think that, like, even if it's in the vicinity, it would, like, take them out.
The only thing more dangerous than handing us a car with a machine gun is handing us 2 cars with machine guns. Racing around the desert can keep us occupied for hours, but it's usually cut short when I cause a pileup. Having car problems and getting stuck in the middle of the desert is something every couple dreads.
Oh my god, Terry, you just crashed right into me. my car!
But it's always nice when the neighbors stop by to help.
Taryn, how did this even happen?
I'm gonna blame a hill.
Are you able to back up? Oh my god, what is happening with your arms?
What's going on with my arms?
I don't know.
She's like, whoa!
Oh no, someone else came.
Shit. We make a pretty good team in games like this because our strengths and weaknesses complement each other. He's more of a maverick who's not afraid of dying, so expect him to run out guns blazing in an encounter. I get nervous and like to stay behind cover and only peek my head up when I know I can get a clean shot. It's a strategy that works like a third of the time. He's in love with his turret, and I'm starting to get a little jealous of it. Half the time, I think he's throwing me a compliment, but then it turns out he's actually talking to the turret. I'll admit, it's got better aim than me, but I don't see it going out of its way to pick him up when he's down.
I feel like having a Scorpio turret is like having a second girlfriend. I love it.
Oh my god.
I really do. It's great. It can't pick me up when I'm down though, so don't feel jealous.
When things start falling apart, we go into damage control mode. Whenever we're on a back pedal, it seems like he's the one that's constantly down, so it's up to me to get over to him and scoop him back up.
Holy shit, okay. You just hit like my entire shield. Taryn, block the doorway, god damn.
I'm not trying to, I'm sorry. I was actively trying to move, actually.
You were just in like the wrong place at the wrong time.
He's always quick to want to give up, but I'm running on girlfriend-fueled adrenaline from landing criticals.
You're over there. Should I come save you?
I don't think you have enough time. I'm dead. So long. Oh, let's bail as soon as I'm up. Okay, go. Out the back door.
Out the back, out the back, out the back. Sometimes he goes down faster than I can get him back up, and we end up in this weird limbo where I'm just crouching behind cover, reviving him over and over again for 10 minutes. It's not the worst way to deal with the baddies, but if they've got shield belts, it just ends up being a waste of bullets.
Ammo count black.
I'm out of ammo.
When we both end up downed, we've got to rely on getting a second win by killing something. If we were smart, we'd be a little more strategic about how we do this. But the reality is, when we're down, we both start firing our guns at anything that moves, like we've got infinite ammo hacks or something. You'd think we'd work together, but we're so uncoordinated that we end up fighting each other for the same dude. Then one person ends up standing while the other is just shit out of luck.
I gotta kick this guy's ass.
Yeah, I gotta kick this guy's ass.
Hey, I'll call you back after the fight.
Yeah, me too.
Good luck in yours.
Good luck in yours.
For every time we end up having to bail out of an encounter and retreat, there are those ones where we just absolutely curb stomp the competition. I've had plenty of cool moments where I do something really cool or save the day.
Hello there. Let's go.
Woo! Eventually, we fulfill our gun lust and are ready to lay down our weapons and go back to playing farming simulators. If I had to gauge when it was time to stop, I'd just look over at him when we're sitting at base camp. Around the time we start getting annoyed by Claptrap, it's time to put the lid back on Pandora. I always have to remind him that although Claptrap is an annoying robot, he's our annoying robot.